Good. Now, obviously, we've heard you're an atheist, and you've got other ways to explain whatever is happening. What to you is proof that God cannot exist?
Okay. For me, looking at the fossil record and looking at how the entire thing lays out and how it works, it seems completely incompatible with any ideas of theology. And that's why, for me, I cannot sort of justify in my mind the existence of this great being, when to me I can see the evolutionary dead ends and offshoots in the record, because I work with these skeletons and these fossils virtually every day. And it's, it's sort of something that you can't, turn your head away from. You can test and try to disprove and disprove. This is what scientists do. We work towards disproving what we think is right. And so basically what I do is try to disprove evolution, and the more you try to disprove it, the more you find out that you can't. And more often than not, religion and evolution find themselves at odds with each other. And obviously, the one I have the more evidence for is the one I support.
Now, theoretically, why could God not have been the author of evolution? I mean, you keep on doing science, and you keep on discovering that evolution is the answer. Just if you could explain a bit more, why could God not be beyond that, theoretically?
I think that's more of a philosophical question. But I think looking at the entire randomness of the system, looking at the fact that the system is always moving towards equilibrium, but it's always doing so without any sort of guidance. It's always getting it wrong and then getting it right. Particularly with changes and genetic changes, there was a species, Brandicus robustus, which adapted towards grinding hard. It was hominid, Mike said. It was a hominid with a moderately large brain, but was quite adapted to chewing hard fruits and nuts and seeds to try and overcome its environment, and eventually died off and became extinct. It was not part of our direct lineage. And looking at the entire randomness of it all, it just doesn't make sense with sort of, if it were linear, then I would say yes, that's evidence for a divine being guiding it, but because it's not as simple and straightforward as just beginning to end and so on, and it's twisted roots to get to where we are, that it just doesn't seem to work with the idea of a divine being guiding the system.
So basically you say that if there is a God, he should be linear, because what you find is not linear and not logical and not organized.
What we find is, if there is a God, you would assume that there was a system of logic in place that would move from step to step, from increasing from simplicity to complexity. But you find that along the way there are species that took steps back, and to try and adapt to its environment, and those eventually drove out and became extinct. And again, if there was a supreme creator that's all-powerful, all-knowing, and really knew his stuff, he wouldn't actually, do it in such a twisty, messed up way.
So you're basically saying God can't be this dumb?
Yes, basically, because every idea of God places him as in the extreme, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing, and something as random as the path of evolution. That when you look at the entire system, it doesn't point to the existence of a supreme being. It points to the existence of chance and dead ends and so on.